Hello, hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health. We got anybody here in the room?
Yeah.
Fabulous. We're here tonight at Good versus Fad, and the big point of this is I want to introduce you to all of the confusion and nonsense that's out there regarding health and regarding specifically food. So let's get started. Here we go. Look at this wonderful graphic here. Weight Watchers, Noom, keto diet, paleo, Atkins, all the weight loss stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of the important stuff. We're not going to go through all of it because it's just too much. However, we're going to boil it down, make it very simple. So here's what you will learn. Ready? Check this out. Americans are overfed and undernourished. You do know what the differences are between those words, right? They're overfed, they're eating too much, and they're undernourished. They're not getting nutrition. We will save you from thousands of hours in the gym destroying your body. If you want to go work out, that's fine. But don't think that you have to go to the gym and work off your Oreo sundae. Okay? You have to work off the calories. That has been a lie from the beginning. You don't just eat what you want to eat and then go to the gym and hop on the treadmill for 6 hours. Okay? We'll save you untold thousands of hours in the gym. Next, we will save you from untold thousands of dollars spent on starving yourself with crazy diets. Next, we will save you from misinformation, disinformation, and as you know now, plenty of outright lies in the media. There's a lot of stuff out there. You can go down a rabbit hole just on one of these diets and be lost for years. So we'll save you a lot of time. We will save you from massive food inflation due to the current thing. Who knows what the current thing is? Anybody? There's always a new thing. For 2.5 years, almost, it was the Corona hoax, and now it's the Ukraine-Russia thing to keep your attention diverted to the current thing, right? They don't want you knowing what's going on, and they certainly don't want you paying attention. Yeah, well, Russia did it. Well, of course, Russia did everything. Russia did everything for like the last 8 years, right? So we will save you from massive food inflation. What do I mean by this? Well, when they shut down pipelines and when food gets more expensive because now they're not making the chemical-based nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, artificial fertilizers, and gas prices go through the roof so you can't ship the stuff, what's it going to do to, and I'll say the certain, not all, certain foods, such as wheat, oats, corn, soy, barley, what's it going to do to those foods? It's going to drive the price way up. Who in this room who's a patient, raise your hand if you're a patient. And now keep your hand up if you eat wheat, oats, corn, soy, and barley. See what we just did? We bypassed all that inflation nonsense because you don't eat that crap anyway, right? What's going to go up and inflate in prices is processed, chemically fertilized food from thousands of miles away. That's what's going to go up. You're ordering stuff here locally from Farmer Joe, guess how much that's going to go up? Nothing like this. So once again, we're going to save you a buttload of money. So when people say, well, I can't afford a natural health, I laugh. Next. No one in this country eats healthy on their own due to the current programming and the brainwashing through the media, through the magazines, through the newspapers. No one. I've been in practice 9 years. People come in here, every single person tells me I eat healthy, and I take one look at their paperwork, and I can tell that they don't, because everything that they have is nutritionally based. And then when we look at their food logs, I can tell immediately that they're not. They're very much not healthy, right? Next. Insight into the nutrition juggernauts who saw the rollout of processed foods. We're going to cover 2 of them tonight. We've covered some of them before, but we're going to cover 2 nutritional juggernauts that you need to know about. As patients, we will teach you how to actually eat real food. When you start here as a patient, I know it's crazy. Nobody's ever taught you this before, but it's so simple. It's too simple for most people, right, Abigail? It's way too simple for most people. They want complicated. They want specialists at Vanderbilt. This is not your place if you're one of those people, right? So Weston A. And the ones right here that we're going to talk about, Royal Lee, Weston A. Price, Francis Pottinger. And then this here, how do we teach you to eat real food? Through food logs. You're going to be keeping track of what you eat. Through books, through documentaries, through classes like this. You get it, right? 21-day purification. Next, you want to lose weight, but your body wants to rebuild its organs. I get it. You want to lose weight. You weigh 250 pounds. You want to drop it down to 180. I get it. But your body, before it loses weight, wants to rebuild its organs because losing all that weight is going to cause problems for you. That's why so many people go through these big-time fad diets or the medical weight loss, and they drop a buttload of weight, literally buttload of weight. They drop a lot of weight, And then they get really, really, really unhealthy because their organs are falling apart, but their body's falling apart, but they want to lose weight. Your body's in control, not you, right? So just be aware of that. And then we do not accept certain patients. What do I mean by that? I mean this: we don't take your insurance. So we are not dictated to by Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna or Cigna or Humana that we have to take your case. In other words, if people are big pharma voodoo worshipers and they think that Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci and the World Economic Forum cares about their health, and that vaccines are going to upgrade their operating system, and they want drugs because they worship pharmakia, this is not the place for you. If you love your Medicare and your insurance, and you think the government's going to take care of you, this is not the place for you. If you're a staunch, hardcore, heavy-duty, line in the sand, I am vegan and vegetarian, and I love animals, and I am not going to eat an animal, this is not the place for you. So, and we'll show you a good example of how that comes about here in just a minute. So just know that. We don't accept everybody. And yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Opening comments. Here we go. So I do not have anything against multi-level marketing companies. I love multi-level marketing companies. I think everyone should be in, just for the tax advantages alone, some kind of multi-level marketing company. You should. You multi-level market. You market stuff that's less valuable, right? And for instance, multi-level marketers, they're great networkers, they're great business builders. But what I find with a lot of people coming in here saying, here, check out this opportunity, check out that opportunity. There's so many nutrition companies out there and so many food-related multi-level marketing or network marketing companies. There's so many out there. It's almost impossible to find one that's not created by an overweight businessman. They're not health-minded nutritionists. They're not heavy-duty, workout people. They're, in most cases, they're overweight businessmen selling nutritionally deficient, synthetic, pharmaceutical grade nutraceuticals to people in downlines, and the people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. How do I know? Because the people bring me the stuff, and I look at it, and you can tell just by looking at the label or the ingredients whether it's legitimate or not. So I have nothing against MLMs. Everybody should do one. Just pick the right one. Next. A few patients, no matter what we do, for how long we do it, will return to old habits or newly advertised fads based upon their social circles. In other words, they will do what the people who are around them do. Regardless of how long they've been here and how much better they've gotten, eventually, if you're not solid, you will be doubly minded, toss about like a wave to and fro upon the sea, and you will return to something you left, or you'll be introduced to something new by someone around you in your circle. And most of the time, as you'll see at the end, if it's true, it's not new, and if it's new, it's not true. Most of the time, that will suck you into a vortex that will be very difficult to get out of. Next. This is big point for you three specifically. Big time. You four, actually. I did not learn this at all from this, and the stuff we talk about in the classes, not just tonight, but the stuff we talk about in all the classes. I did not learn this from a college nutrition course. I did not learn this from Instagram gurus, and I certainly did not search it in the 2020 censorship, rodeo that's now called Dr. Google. You will be deceived if you try, because the powers that be, the media, the search engine algorithms will make sure that you find whatever disease you have means go directly to your doctor because you have stage 4 cancer and get it removed. I mean, all the time. WebMD, Medscape, you name it. So I just wanted to make sure you guys all know that. More and more patients are watching these wellness workshop events before starting as patients. They come in, I've heard it, I don't know how many times, they come in and they've watched like a year or two of these classes because they get such value out of what they're finding out. And many are driving for hours. And because of that, there are a lot of chiropractors out there who don't adjust anymore, just like there are a lot of naturopathic doctors nowadays who use needles and hormone creams. So we can't really ethically refer to other people where your relatives live if we don't know those people. They might be a great chiropractor, but they don't do nutrition. They might be a great place that teaches people how to eat, but they don't teach them the detox side of things. So we can't really ethically refer, so people drive here. And then this is far too simple, right, Abigail? It's far too simple for most people to believe and to actually apply for very long. It's far too simple. They will be distracted by complexity. So Reasons to learn this. Here we go. Oh, and here's a good example. Here's a recent email exchange that we got. I'll read this to you so the people in the nosebleed seats can hear it. She sent us a question on email. Okay, and this is typical. This is very typical. Hold on, nobody read this. Before I read this, know that there are a ton of movies out there right now, and Instagram gurus, Facebook gurus, there are a ton of them out there right now that are propagating the whole idea that eating meat makes you sicker. There are documentary movies that are very well done that you get all the way through the documentary movie and you realize you've just been indoctrinated with veganism and vegetarianism, but they never use the word once in the whole entire 2-hour movie. They just tell you how bad it is to eat meat because it's killing the planet. Poor animals, poor animals. You're related to them. You evolved from the same dirt as they came from, right? That's not the way it happened, and we can prove it, and that's not the way we do things here. So just know that. The email exchange, she asked the question, is your program 100% plant-based? At the very end of this, if you want to know what plant-based means, we're going to show you. So we responded. Nadia responded. I didn't have anything to do with this. This was Nadia. Great question. Our program is plant-based along with animals. Here's a video that explains what's in our supplements and why plants and animals are vital to healing. Nadia sent her a link. We get this all the time, strange questions through the email, through the website. But Nadia sent her a link to the vegetarian veganism class where we show vegetarianism is a religion, it's not a diet. Most vegetarians don't eat just vegetables, like the name says. They eat bagels and pastas and breads and cereals, and most vegetarians are falling apart. They're very sick, and we showed people, like, here's the logic of it, and here's why it doesn't fit. So it was like a 2-hour class, and 20 minutes later, we know she didn't watch it, because 20 minutes later, she sends this back. Thank you. I will look elsewhere for a mentor. I didn't know. I thought she was looking to be a patient. I didn't know she wanted a mentor, right? Because I do not believe, opinion, animals are at all vital to anyone's well-being. Tell that to the Eskimos, the Inuits, the Native Americans. Tell that to every civilization that ever lived on Earth. There was never a successful vegetarian, vegan civilization that ever survived on Earth. But she doesn't believe that. That's her opinion. You're entitled to it, even if you're wrong. In fact, studies show, I know what studies she's talking about, that animal protein, what kind of animal protein? Confined animal feeding operation, genetically modified cattle protein? Fed grains and corns? Right. Or the animal protein from Farmer Joe down the street that's in my freezer right now? See? In her opinion, this is what she says because she's seen the studies. Who wrote the studies? Honey, I would like to see the studies that you're referring to, honey. So here she is, that show animal protein promotes cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. No, cancer, heart disease, and diabetes come from what? Fake food, crappy food, sugar, and mostly, right? I am enrolled in plant-based nutrition courses and have been plant-based for years and have reversed all, capital letters, of my illnesses and conditions and have gotten off all medications. My plant-based family has not been sick since going plant-based several years ago. Meanwhile, our friends and family who consume animal products, what kind of animal products? Are sick often and have chronic diseases. I strongly urge you to do research on whole food plant-based nutrition and stop recommending animal products to people as it is unhealthy and destructive to the planet. Is it destructive to the planet? It's also very cruel to the animals. Thanks for your time. So she wasn't looking to be a patient. I got done with this and I thought, well, shoot, she obviously knows something I need to know. Contact her and see if I can become her patient because I need to do some research. She's enrolled in plant-based courses, nutrition courses, right? Not to be a smartass or anything like that, but this is the kind of stuff that you run into occasionally where is your program 100% plant-based? It's kind of a baiting question. I said, well, just send her the video. We don't have time to respond to all this crap, that people send us, all the stupidity that we get, So we just sent this, and it was obvious she didn't even watch the thing. So she wasn't interested in watching or learning anything. She was interested in forcing her opinion upon me when, well, honey, who's got the practice? Do you have a victory wall? Do you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos and testimonials? If not, then let's talk later. And you could come in. I could show you a few things if you'd be willing to learn, but it's obvious that you're not. To be a patient here, all you got to do is be willing to learn. That's it. Next. Here is Earth Balance vegan butter. We get this all the time on food logs. I'm doing the vegan butter so it doesn't clog up my arteries, the cholesterol, the lies you've been told. I'll read the ingredients here. Vegetable oil blend, good or bad? Bad. That's the main ingredient, right? You want to know what vegetable oils? Here goes. Palm, soybean, canola, and extra virgin olive oils, right? Water, salt, less than 2% of defatted what kind of flour? Soy. Natural flavor, could be anything. Soy lecithin, which isn't necessarily that horrible. Lactic acid, annatto extract, and it contains soy and organic ingredients. But basically what is the name of this again? This is vegan butter. Say those words again and tell me how they fit together. Right. Go ahead and say in your mind, say vegan cheese. And let that sink in for a minute, right? They're calling things backward. They're calling light darkness and darkness light. Good is evil now and evil is good, right? So that's your vegan butter. And check this out. And ConAgra. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. Yeah, you'll see this in a minute. You'll see who ConAgra is in a minute. But anyway, that's available at Publix, right? And that is on every food log that walks in here. So when people come in and they go, I eat healthy, we take one look at stuff and we go, no, you don't. If there is the word vegan on there, it can't be. Because look at this, right? You're replacing the stuff that God created with crap that man made in a laboratory. Think about that, vegans. Because if we're destroying the planet, didn't we create this stuff in a laboratory or a big plant that has output that's killing the planet? And you're telling me I'm the one that's killing the planet, right? If you look at the transhuman eugenics thing that we talked about in the artificial versus natural classes, we talk about how the climate change thing and the carbon footprint thing is just, you are the carbon that they want to reduce. It's not carbon monoxide they're telling you, it's carbon dioxide they're telling you is bad, which you have to have for plants to live, right? Bad idea. So this right here is a complete evolutionary, atheistic, destructive way to look at the world, because you're creating crap in a laboratory that displaces molecules and atoms in God's creation. And you're telling us that we're the bad ones for eating what we have digestive enzymes in our body to eat. I didn't write the book. I didn't create you. You have to live in the order of creation, or when you mess it up, things get screwed. Next. Here is, I thought ConAgra was down in here, but ConAgra is probably on here. This is I don't know, what is this, 12 different companies or whatever that control the world's food supply? Unilever, Mars. Where's Mars located again? Wrigley, Cadbury, Kellogg's, which all of you know in this room at least should know my history with Kellogg's. My mom retired from Kellogg's. General Mills, PepsiCo, Nestle, Wonka. Is that a company? Wonka? And then Coca-Cola, Unilever, all of this. So all of your candy bars, all of your fake meats, all of your butters and margarines and stuff like that are all, at any convenience store. I mean, this is it right here. That's pretty much it. So what is that, 8 or 10, 12 companies that control the food supply? Quaker Oats, processed. Everything on here is processed, refined, crap added to it. And that's what is in most people's pantries, grocery carts, and offices, right? Next. Okay, commercial break. You ready for some commercial break? Everybody, we're going to have Lauren do commercial breaks today. Give Lauren a good stiff round of applause.
Okay, this is a great testimonial. She wrote, I spent all my life being overweight. I became aware, concerned, and insecure of it by the time I was 10. I spent most of my teen years doing diets, cleanses, and exercises that seemed to only have a temporary effect. I would then fall back into the same sad cycle of constantly thinking about my weight. Now, Dr. Brett has helped to completely change my perspective. I learned that my weight is a symptom of my entire lifestyle. I was taught how to get healthy from the inside out. My body is getting rid of the weight along with all the other symptoms now. I have had the biggest relief that I needed my whole entire life. Now, treating weight as the symptom and getting healthy from the inside out, I no longer constantly fight myself on my body. My body is doing it for me.
Wow. Right on. See how easy? Yes, very good. Very good. And now for a little comic relief. I can tell you all need a little comedy. The zombie apocalypse, that was what we expected, but man, the reality is even scarier. World hoax. I mean, you're trusting people that have snakes on their name tags and as their logo. Think about it. Next. You either understand history or you trust the government. You can't do both. That's so true. So true. Anyone in this room know who this dude is? No one. No one in this room? You take health advice from someone who profits when you're sick. Do I make a profit when you guys are sick? God, nobody. Hello? Can I get an answer? Anybody awake out there? Do I make a profit when you guys are sick? No. I began to wonder there for a minute. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that. Do we make a profit when you guys get better and tell other people? We should we not? We should be rewarded for our efforts. But mainstream medicine, you're taking health advice from people who profit when you're sick. I don't know. You try to tell people, hey, insurance only pays for drugs and surgery. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. Next. This is new. This is February 2021. We covered this when it first came out. It's unbelievable. But this is healthy. That's the new norm. That's the new, I hate that term now, the new norm, the new normal. But that's what they're saying is healthy, right? See, 20, 30 years ago, they were saying diabetes, obesity, this and that. Now they're just scrapping that and going, you feel like a girl today? Okay. You're healthy. Who do you identify with today? You identify as a man today? Okay, you can hop on the women's swim team. Perfect, no problem. See, these are the people that are in charge of your healthcare, and you trust in them? It's ridiculous. And then I'm the conspiracy nut. It's crazy. Next. So here we go. Tale of Two Wolves. This is fun. Cherokee grandfather spoke with his grandson. My son, I feel as though two wolves are fighting in my heart. Black wolf is evil, anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, ego. The white wolf is good. It's joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The grandson asked, so which wolf wins? The old grandfather simply replied, the one I feed. It is no different in the spirit realm, physical realm. What you get is going to be what you put into something, what you feed, right? So King Solomon kind of did the same thing. Similar proverb about 3,000 years prior to that, when he wrote, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you teach your kids, if you teach your college-age kids, if you teach your high school kids, teach your grade school kids, if you teach them that they're a monkey, don't be pissed when they start acting like idiots, okay? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if he thinks he's worthless, he's going to act like he's worthless. If he thinks that he's the child of the king, he's going to act like the child of the king, right? So that was King Solomon in Proverbs. We become what we think about. We reap the fruit of the thoughts we sow, either positively or negatively. And here's a little observation I made years ago. Diet is the word die with a cross at the end. So it's hard to be a mature spiritual being when your physical vessel is prematurely decaying. So how important is it for people who should be leading the way, catching the touchdown in the end zone during this time in history, how hard is it for you to be a good witness and to be in good shape if you just think that Jesus is coming back and we're all going to hop on a cloud and get out of here and let the world go to hell in a handbasket, right? You need to be living by example. So let food be the medicine and medicine be like food. That's something you've probably heard from Hippocrates. It's in a lot of the documentaries that you've probably seen out there on food. We've drifted. Modern diseases of civilization force many to spend fortunes on sickness rather than prevention and maintenance. Changing your oil is more affordable than purchasing a new vehicle, is it not? Right? But people all the time, I can't afford to eat healthy. You'll hear it. Next, you'll hear it. For instance, in 1960, people spent 20% of their income on food and 5% on healthcare. But now that everybody has free government healthcare, they do 5% on food and they do 20% on healthcare because it's free, right? So one of the biggest tragedies, this is Royal Lee, he wrote this back in 1951. Love this. One of the biggest tragedies of human civilization is the precedence of chemical therapy over nutrition. He's saying drugs over food. It's a substitution of artificial therapy over nature, of poisons over food, in which we are feeding, pay attention, feeding people poisons, trying to correct the reactions of starvation. That's your healthcare system, folks. How do I know? Look what they feed them when they're in the hospital. Look what they feed patients. Next, here's another couple quotes. Royal Lee. You guys will love this one. Vegetarians, you'll love this one, I promise. This is 1938. So candy, all white sugar and its products, and white flour, all the bagels and breads and noodles, including its products. such as macaroni, kids, spaghetti, crackers, etc., should be absolutely barred from the diet of the child. Oh, we're going to make enemies now. Grandma and grandpa aren't going to let you hang out with the kids. All these are energy-producing foods that contain no building materials for the body. Why? Carbohydrate. What's your body made of? Fat and protein. That is the most simple aspect of diet you're ever going to learn right there. I can repeat it for you later if you'd like. The consequences of their toleration are susceptibility to infections. COVIDs, ever heard of that? Enlarged tonsils, tonsillectomy. Carious teeth, cavities. Unruly dispositions, ADD, ADHD. I mean, this was 1938. You get this? Stunted growth, malformities, and congenital anomalies, right? Rickets, what's that? Vitamin D deficiency, right? That's what that is. Maldevelopment and very often permanent damage to many organs of the body, especially the endocrine glands. So that's your thyroid, your adrenals, your hypothalamus, your brain. It's unbelievable. Testicles, ovaries, depending on if you're, who you identify as, that depend on the vitamin supply for their normal function and development. All these things right now you are seeing in this generation of kids, and everybody's wondering why there's so many cancer hospitals for kids. Why? Nobody knows. It's just genetic, right? Just like COVIDs. Next. The primary cause, he said this back in the 1920s. The primary cause of disease is not germs with your COVIDs and your fake viruses. It's not genes, right? Those are the two things that medicine says, germs and genes cause all disease, right? Think of a disease. Hold on. The primary cause of disease is not germs, genes, or toxins. It is malnutrition. There is a key in the sentence I want you to get. He said this in the 1920s. I think it was 1929. Medicine today says every disease is from one of two causes, germs or genes. Can you think of anything else today that medicine says disease comes from? Germs and genes, right? They tell you cancer, genetic. They tell you diabetes, genetic. They tell you Alzheimer's, genetic. They tell you all this stuff. Then, if it's not one of those things, they tell you chickenpox. What's that? They tell you COVIDs. What's that? They tell you rabies. What's that? Everything's germs. Germs, germs, germs. You got to be afraid of all this crap you'll never see, right? The germ theory, fake germ theory of disease, right? Now, here's the key. Why don't they ever talk about toxins in medicine? Because medications are toxins. If they were to tell you, I think you're being poisoned by a heavy metal or chemical toxin, how are they going to treat it? By giving you a heavy metal chemical poison or a toxin? All of their drugs are toxins. So the primary cause of disease isn't any of these, it's malnutrition. There's a big secret in that statement right there. He didn't even know it back in 1929 when he said this, because all the toxins that are now out in our society, are they more or less than there was in 1929? Oh my gosh. He didn't even know back then what we were walking into. So next. All right, here goes. Here's the timeline. So 1900, average U.S. life expectancy was 47 years. And by 1930, lifespans increased to 58 for men and 62 for women. By 2001, average life expectancy was 74 for men. So, 70 years later, here we are, and 80 for women. So through the first half, and don't send me any hate mail for using the words men and women there, because we do still believe that even though there's a Supreme Court nominee who doesn't know what a woman is, I just wanted to ask one question. I wish somebody would have asked her, ma'am, when you leave this room, what bathroom will you walk into? Yeah. I just wish. Yeah. So through the first half of the 20th century in the U.S., improved nutrition, sanitation, and the control of disease drastically reduced infant mortality. So flushing toilets, running water, and the hauling away of trash had profound effects on health. What got all the credit? Yeah. Duh, right? We learned where to pee. We learned not to eat our own poo, and vaccines got all the credit. They were already, all those diseases were already on the downslope before vaccines were even introduced. Next. Mainstream understanding of diet and nutrition was still in its infancy in the 60s and 70s. But wait. That Royal Lee quote I just read you was 1920s. Who's Royal Lee? Founder of Standard Process. We'll talk more about that in a little while, but remember this. In the 60s and 70s, nobody knew anything about diet, really. Hardly anybody in the mainstream. Dieting is it's not a new concept. It derives from Latin dieta, meaning a way of living. It is not whatever starvation mode you're going into for the next 6 months. It's the way of living. Our diet is a total consumption of what we eat. Okay? So as time progressed, however, the concept of dieting came to be defined as a prescribed course of limiting or starving you, limiting your food intake in kind and or in quantity, restricting the very nutrients needed to remain healthy. Isn't that crazy? Here's what's crazy. Check this out. Oh, let's go to the list of fad diets real quick. Just so you understand the gravity of this and how big this is and how long this has been going on. Wait till we get this pulled up here. This is so crazy. You just Google fad diets. And I only use Google for stuff like this, so I can see what people are going to see if they type it in. So if you just Google like keto diet or paleo diet or whatever you're hearing around, this is one of the first things that comes up. It's a list on Wikipedia about fad diets, right? So here's all of the, scroll up a little bit so we can tell like kind of what we're seeing here. Fad diets. Popular for a time, similar to fads in fashion without being a standard dietary recommendation. I just want to scroll down this list so you guys can see things that you've heard of. Starting right here, food-specific diets. This is a list of all the food-specific stuff. Alkaline, baby food diet, cabbage soup, carnivore, clean eating, cookie diet, egg and wine diet, food combining, fit for life, gluten-free, fruitarianism. What do you think that is? Just eating fruit. That's what that is. Morning banana diet, mucusless diet. Let's just keep going. Paleolithic, we'll talk about that. Here's the low-carb, high-fat diets. Keep going, keep going. Bulletproof, sugar busters, zone diet. High carbohydrate, low fat. See how confusing this already is? We haven't even touched the surface yet. You're going to thank me for just making all this go away. Slim fast, you've heard of that one. Intermittent fasting, you've heard of that one. Juice fasting, orthopathy, detox diet, fat flush, lemon detox, keep going, keep going. Blood type diet, werewolf diet. Here's the vegetarian diets. You didn't know there were so many vegetarian diets, did you? Keep going. So I use Wikipedia and Google to just show you how confusing could this be to the average person. It's horrible. Semi-vegetarian diets. Didn't even know there was such a thing as a semi-vegetarian. Here's other diets. Keep going. Just scroll through all of that. Gerson therapy, high residue, low sulfur, Okinawa diet, organic food diet, Shangri-La, sugar busters, Western. It just keeps going, right? How do you make sense of all this? It's very, very, very simple. Here goes. The big granddaddy, here's Weight Watchers. Uh-oh, Abigail's making she's making a scene, I tell you what. Let's go to the next slide for me, Jonathan. So here's the big granddaddy. I'll just go through the top three that some of you have probably heard of. You guys probably didn't know most of this. Here's Weight Watchers. Here's the granddaddy, right? The grandfather of modern diet plans. Like we said, nobody knew about anything until mainstream was thinking about diet, food, or food stuff until 1960s or 70s. So Weight Watchers started in the 60s. What's it all about? Group accountability, right? What else? Point system. You get points for fat, for fiber, for calories. So you started people counting into counting points and carbs and grams and calories. What's that? A good way to make people completely obsessed with everything they put in their mouth. That's what happens. Did you know it was bought by Heinz in 1978, went public on the stock market? You know that big graphic we did a little while ago? There you go. Many companies are now licensed to produce their products. And here's a great little point that everybody loves about it. No food's prohibited. Big Macs and Chicken McNuggets have points assigned to them based upon their fat and their fibers and their calories, right? That's Weight Watchers. That's the biggest one. Now, I know there are some good things out there that people have done with Weight Watchers and some of the other diets that we're talking about. But when you start a diet, when you start to change your diet, your body's going to change. Is it for the best or for the worst? Well, that's the question you need to answer. So here, let's move on. Jenny Craig, 1983. 600 franchises about, give or take. You've seen them all around. Customized program, it's free to enroll. The fee to enroll depends on your weight loss goal. So if you want to lose 100 pounds, it's going to be different than just losing 50. Next. Frozen microwavable meals, small portions plus 30 minutes of exercise. What's the problem with that? Processed, frozen meals means now you have to microwave it. So now you're trying to get healthier. See the duplicity with this. Next. There's the breakdown of carb, protein, fat, low-fat dairy. There's only 3 things you can eat: carbs, proteins, and fat. What are most people in the United States eating too much of? Carb, protein, or fat? Carbs. What's your body made of? Carb, protein, or fat? Fat and protein. So do you see the problem with people eating bagels and pasta and bread and macaroni? It's that simple. It's really that simple. You get phone support for accountability. Great. Perfect. 24/7. Next. Bought by Nestle in 2006. There you have it. Perfect. So we trust Nestle, right? Nah, I'll pass. Next, Nutrisystem. We've all heard of this one, 1971. Just click through all this, Jonathan. 1800 weight loss centers, franchise for prepackaged food. 90s, the franchise model got trashed to sell prepackaged food on the internet. Hey, everybody loves that, right? 28-day meal plan, low glycemic carbs. Low glycemic just means it doesn't affect your blood sugar too much, right? And protein to fill the person up. No meetings, phones, or fees. Now they're just doing stuff on the internet from all I know. Atkins diet, you've heard of this, 1970s, blah, blah, blah. Next, Pritikin diet. Guy had a heart attack, developed his own diet. Low fat, high fiber, combined with exercise. Next, I mean, it just goes on and on. LA weight loss, MetaFast, Slim Fast. Next. So, we'll stop there for, no. Let's look at paleo. Pull up the thing. So just so people understand, if you Google one of these things, you'll get pulled down a rabbit hole and you may or may not come out of it. So like one of the biggest things we hear, especially now, I'd say, is either I'm paleo or I'm keto. Okay, we'll talk about all that. But let's just say you dial up, Paleolithic diet, right? And you want to know what it is. Well, here's a Mayo Clinic article that a lot of people would stumble onto, like I did, and what it is and why it's so popular. It's an eating plan model on prehistoric human diets. Is it right for modern humans? Dietary plan based on foods similar to what might have been eaten during the Paleolithic era, which dates from approximately 2.5 million to 10,000 years ago. Okay, is there a problem there at all? If you believe in evolution, this is the diet for you. It's unbelievable, right? A paleo diet typically includes lean meats, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Foods that in the past could be obtained by hunting and gathering. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, right? Paleo diet limits foods that became common when farming emerged 10,000 years ago. These foods include dairy products, legumes, and grains, right? So this is already, it's a diet that you have to understand this. Paleolithic means, I think from, 2.5 million years ago to 10,000 years ago. This whole era of Earth history that biblically does not exist. However, this whole era of Earth history that's based on evolution, and it's based on the fact that that we didn't have milking, and we didn't have, because those animals had not been domesticated yet, right? So the aim of paleo diet is to return to a way of eating that's more like what early humans ate, which wouldn't that be just getting off the processed foods? Scroll down, scroll down. Diet's reasoning, some human bodies are genetically mismatched to the modern diet that emerged with farming practices, an idea known as the discordance hypothesis. Farming changed what people ate and established. Dairy, grains, and legumes are additional staples in the human diet. This relatively late and rapid change in diet, according to the hypothesis, outpaced the body's ability to adapt. According to the what? Hypothesis. The whole thing's based off an idea of millions and billions of years of Earth's history, caveman, caveman, caveman. All of a sudden, now we've developed farming to a point where people are eating too much what? Carbs. It's the same thing, right? Why you might follow a paleo diet if you want to lose weight, here's some details. Recommendations vary. Some have stricter guidelines. What to eat? What's the first thing they say to eat? Fruits. High in what? Okay. Vegetables, nuts, seeds, lean meats, grass-fed animals, fish, salmon, mackerel, albacore, oils from fruits and nuts. I'm okay with all this stuff, but why would they put fruits first? Well, come on. What to avoid? Grains, no surprise. Wheat, oats, corn, soy, barley. See, the same stuff we told you. This, the inflation, the genetically modified, inflation hammered foods in the near future, right? What to avoid? Dairy products. They don't want you drinking dairy because even though milk and eggs are nature's perfect food, people survived on for thousands of years going across deserts. Don't drink that. Dairy, and define dairy. Is it the pasteurized, homogenized stuff sold in the supermarkets, or is it raw dairy, straight out of the cow? See, you have to define these words. Of course, raw, refined sugar. What if salt? Stay away from salt. We'll get there. So here's a typical, so scroll. Breakfast, broiled salmon and cantaloupe. How many of you are going to cook salmon in the morning? Broiled lean pork loin. Read that again. Pork loin. Broiled lean pork. What's the problem with that? What is the filthiest animal in the world that you could possibly eat? Pork, bacon, sausage, ham. All of that comes from the same dirty, filthy animal, right? But right here, no problem. Lean beef, sirloin, tip roast, an orange, carrot sticks, celery sticks, scroll down, results. And this is from the Mayo Clinic, remember, scroll down, scroll down. Clinical trials have compared the paleo diet to other eating plans like the Mediterranean diet, diabetes diet, all these diets. These trials suggest the paleo diet may provide some benefits when compared with diets of fruits, vegetables, lean meats, whole grains, blah, blah, blah. Benefits may include improved garbage, stuff you don't even need to know. However, long trials of large groups of people randomly assigned to different diets are needed to understand the long-term overall health benefits. So in other words, should you eat McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, 21 times a week, or should you just eat stuff that's been around longer than you have? Fairly simple, right? Can we blow away the paleo diet in a minute? Yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything more? Jonathan, go back. Is there anything more there? I can't remember. There might be a juicy tidbit at the bottom of that. Let me know. So diet plans, recipe books are everywhere for this paleo stuff, the keto stuff. People are really, 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 really into the keto thing, and I'm going to simplify it and make it very simple. Here's the deal. Oh, are we not going back?
It'll take me a minute.
Forget it. Come on up. Let's do commercial break. Yay.
Okay, so this patient has been here for about 5 months now, and she's doing great. She wrote, although everything in my diet was organic, I tended to survive on coffee and boiled eggs until 2 p.m. every day. So she was intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
I would continuously eat my way through until bedtime, never feeling full and always craving junk foods. I would fall asleep feeling sad and with heartburn. After only 10 days of incorporating what I was learning about what to eat at Divine Design, foods that provide nutrition to my body, I prepared a meal of wild-caught salmon, a generous salad, and lots of buttery asparagus fries. And for the first time in many years, I actually felt satisfied. I didn't crave any snacks or junk food, and I was overwhelmed by just how much I had been missing feeling satisfied.
Wow.
So,
Yay. So she was starving herself, yeah? You don't have to starve yourself when you come here. You can eat until your jaw falls off. But you won't, because once your body's full of nutrient-dense food, you won't have cravings for things that your body doesn't want. You can only crave something that you already had, right? So if you ate crappy food before and you're craving crappy food, all you got to do is get rid of eating crappy food. That's simple, but variations. Archaeological research has demonstrated, oh yeah, here it is, that early human diets may have included wild grains as much as 30,000 years ago, well before the introduction of farming. Really? I know some biblical archaeologists that would very much argue with you on that point, based on mathematics. Genetic research has shown that notable evolutionary changes continued after the Paleolithic era, including diet-related changes such as increase in the number of genes related to the breakdown of dietary starches. People don't know this, but the paleo diet's based on evolution and atheism. That's what it is. Look into the guy who founded it, who started it. Might be able to achieve the same. Scroll down. I think that's it. I think I just wanted you to see the 30,000 deal. Scroll. Yep, we're done. Okay. All right. So similarities of many modern food diets. Here's we got to do the funny stuff. You ready? Memes. Let's do it. I'm waiting. Where is it? Let me know. How you guys doing? Oh, here we go. Imagine getting 4 vaccine shots in 1 year and calling unvaccinated people crazy. Unbelievable. Doctor diagnosed me with climate change. I know you guys, go back to that one real quick because I want to make sure everybody gets the pure soy here because this is the food class that we're talking about with the pure soy. What's changing? What's making all the boys feel like girls and the girls feel like boys? The food, the air, the water, the chemicals, the cosmetics, the cleaning supplies, the medications, the vaccines. It's a chemical lobotomy.
That's the climate change.
The doctor, well, what they're saying is the doctor's diagnosing with climate change. Climate change is fake. Climate change, you're the carbon they want to reduce. There is no, you remember they used to call it global warming? You don't hear that anymore? Mm-hmm. You notice that? You know why it changed to climate change? Climate change is ambiguous. Global warming would mean the temperatures would have to rise, but we're not seeing that. It's no longer called global warming. They call it climate change because the climate is changing. You're always right. It's like heads I win, tails you lose. So when they're talking about the climate change, they're saying the climate change is giving kids heart attacks, right? All the people that got the shot, all these people that got the shot, it's not the shot. It has to be the climate change. It has to be the stress. It has to be the referee whistles blowing at the soccer games. That's what's giving everybody heart attacks. I just wanted you to see that. Make sure everybody saw the soy. You're chemically castrating your children. Next. I know I'm early, but I'm also an anti-microchipper. I love that. I love that. God, nobody laughed at that, really? Does anybody get that? They call you an anti-vaxxer? Right? Well, you guys are yawning. I feel good. No, next. People say, remember when we were all forced to lock down, social distance, get tested, vaccinated? No, I never did any of that. Not at all. Not at all. I don't remember any of that. Next. So similarities of many modern food diets. Here's the signs that you'll see. Celebrity endorsement, a lot of advertising campaigns, liquid meal replacement drinks, prepackaged foods, all the stuff we just covered. Restricting calories without maximizing nutrition. See, people are counting calories. They're not counting chemicals. See? They get you focused on something that's not even there and get you to avoid something that's been there all along. Kind of like the COVID's thing for 2 years, right? Created by machines to increase shelf life and profitability for the companies, not health for you, right? And then questionable ingredients like soy-based artificial flavors, artificial colors, preservatives, GMOs, genetically modified stuff. You know, that's what all this stuff is. And your friends in the World Economic Forum want you to eat mealworms and grasshoppers and cockroaches. And that's where they're going. All the plant-based stuff we'll talk about at the end, that's where it's going. Deficient in essential nutrients, all the stuff. So what's the fix? Well, here it is. Check this out. This is super easy. In the 1930s, a Cleveland dentist, Cleveland, Ohio, not Cleveland, Tennessee, named Weston A. Price, began a series of unique investigations. So he lived, look at when he lived, 1870 and 1948. When we started getting the industrialized food-like products for World War I so we could ship them all over the world, this dude lived right through it. He saw it. He even lived right up to the end of World War II. So he saw the mass production of, well, crappy farming, big ag, crappy farming, spraying everything with chemicals. He saw that at the end. But at the very beginning, and he was like 40 years old, when he saw World War I, where we shipped food all over the place so we could more efficiently kill more people, right? Began a series of unique investigations. For over 10 years, he traveled to isolated parts of the world to study the health of populations untouched by Western civilization. His goal was to discover the factors responsible for good dental health. He was a dentist. His studies revealed that dental caries, dental cavities, and deformed dental arches resulting in crowded, crooked teeth are the result of nutritional deficiencies, not inherited genetic defects. In other words, if you had to have braces, it wasn't because of your genetics, it was because of your nutrition. He's a dentist from 100 years ago. The groups that Price studied included remote villages in Switzerland. Now, see, these are the cats I study, but I got the email from the vegetarian that wanted to educate me on stuff. Well, this dude traveled the world. Here's who he talked to. Watch. Remote villages in Switzerland, Gaelic communities in the Outer Hebrides, indigenous peoples of North and South America, Native Americans, right? Melanesian and Polynesian South Sea Islanders, like the Philippines and stuff like that. African tribes, Australian Aborigines, and New Zealand Maori. Wherever he went, Dr. Price found that beautiful, straight teeth, freedom from decay, good physiques, resistance to disease, and fine characters were typical of native groups on their traditional diets, rich in essential nutrients. They never had asylums. They never had prisons. Any of these societies. They never had mental problems. Let that sink in. And if you want more on that, go check out Land of the Free, Home of the Crazed. It's a class we did about 2 years ago. When Dr. Price analyzed the foods used by isolated peoples, he found that in comparison to the American diet of his day, they provided at least 4 times the water-soluble vitamins, calcium, and other minerals, and at least 10 times the fat-soluble vitamins from animal foods such as butter, fish, shellfish, organ meats, eggs, and animal fats. The very cholesterol-rich foods now shunned by the American public as unhealthy. So 50 years ago, when they told you low fat, no cholesterol, low cholesterol, that started the thyroid problems and the behavioral problems in women and children and the testicular problems in men. And now you have Viagra and Cialis. So if you can't make fat, if you can't do cholesterol, you're not going to be able to make your sex hormones. Well, doesn't that make sense now? America, they started telling you stay away from salt and stay away from butter and gosh. So these healthy traditional peoples knew instinctively what scientists of Dr. Price's day had recently discovered, that these fat-soluble vitamins, they're A, D, E, and K, but here we're talking about A and D, were vital to health because they acted as catalysts to mineral absorption and protein utilization. Without them, we cannot absorb minerals, no matter how abundant they may be in our food, vegetarians. Dr. Price discovered an additional fat-soluble nutrient, which he labeled Activator X, that is present in fish livers and shellfish, so cod liver, and organ meats and butter from cows eating rapidly growing green grass in the spring and fall. Notice, it's not cows eating rapidly produced, genetically modified grains that they never would have had contact with in their natural habitat. It's green grass. So these cows are eating the actual sunlight and taking water and grass and turning it into everything you need with milk and meat, right? So all indigenous groups had a source of Activator X, and now we believe that vitamin K2 is what he once called Activator X, almost 100 years ago. Next, the isolated, oh, I already read that. Oh, no. No, go back. Yeah. The isolated groups Dr. Price investigated understood the importance of preconceptual nutrition for both parents. Preconceptual, before pregnancy. Many tribes required a period, oh, stop, hold on, before I go further. Are miscarriages a nutritional deficiency? Yes. Are spontaneous abortions, miscarriages, are congenital anomalies and malformations and retardations and no arms, no legs, can they be nutritional deficiencies? Can they be poisonings? Yes, thalidomide, right? So many tribes required a period of special feeding before conception in which nutrient-dense animal foods were given to young men and women. You think these cats who have hung out for thousands of years in the deserts of Africa and New Zealand would know more about how to live than some chick that watched a vegetarian documentary that's trying to school me? Yeah, I think so. But nutrient-dense animal foods were given to young men and young women. These same foods were considered important for pregnant and lactating women and growing children. Price discovered them to be particularly rich in minerals and in fat-soluble activators found only in animal fats. The isolated people Price photographed with their fine bodies, ease of reproduction, emotional stability, and freedom from degenerative ills stand in sharp contrast to civilized moderns subsisting on the displacing foods of modern commerce, including sugar, white flour, pasteurized milk, see? Low-fat foods, vegetable oils, and convenience items filled with extenders and additives. Next, the discoveries and conclusions of Dr. Price are present in his classic volume, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, which is the book I was going to bring you today. It'll blow your mind. The book contains striking photographs, really striking, of handsome, healthy indigenous people that illustrate in an unforgettable way the physical degeneration that occurs when human groups abandon nourishing traditional diets in favor of modern convenience foods. The photographs Dr. Weston Price took illustrate the difference in facial structure. Can we say braces and orthodontics, moms and dads? Between those on native diets and those with parents who adopted the civilized diets of devitalized processed food. The primitive Seminoles, we're going to have two pictures here. Primitive Seminoles on the left have wide, attractive faces, plenty of room for the dental arches. The modernized Seminole girl on the right, born to parents who had abandoned their traditional diet, has a narrowed face, crowded teeth, and a reduced immunity to disease. Tell me which one looks like kids of today. On the left or on the right? Why? Narrowed faces, teeth. Your jawbone should be big enough for all of the teeth that grow inside of it to come down, right? But because of malnutrition, all of the midline features are going to be deformed. in some way, shape, or form. Now, you and I would know it as cleft lip, cleft palate, spina bifida, somebody with a little tuft of hair growing out of here. Their spinous processes didn't fuse all the way, or their lip or their palate here didn't fuse all the way, and so now they've got cleft lip, cleft palate. That's always a nutritional deficiency. Interesting, huh? And the whole book is full of pictures that he took in the 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, and put, here's indigenous people, and here's people 30 miles down the road that moved out of the village a generation ago, and here's their kid. So striking, fascinating. And he's a dentist that influenced an entire generation of dentists after him to realize, are we going to drill, bill, and fill the same cavities forever, or are we going to teach people how to actually stay this way? Not a lot of dentists do this. Next. So here's Francis Pottinger. Who's he? I'm glad you asked. He's a medical doctor. Here we go. Next. Like Dr. Weston A. Price, you will never hear of these people outside of this room unless you just know who they are, where to look. But that's why I'm reading this to you word for word. If you want to, what we ought to do is put these in a handout and just give them to some people. You know, we can do this later if you're interested. Like Dr. Weston Price, Francis Pottinger was a researcher. His studies revealed that predictable changes in health can occur when you change the diet. Fascinating, isn't it? If you can get better with diet, can you get worse with diet? Yeah. So in his study, cats that were fed a diet of raw meat, raw milk, and cod liver oil lived generation after generation in good health. When the raw food was replaced by pasteurized, read that as cooked, milk, and partially cooked meat, allergies and skeletal deformities occurred in the first generation, okay? The offspring of those poorly fed cats developed glandular problems, like thyroid, adrenal, and pancreatic problems. So that first generation of cats had allergies and skeletal deformities. See where I'm going with this? Continue. The offspring had these endocrine disorders. The next generation, so the third generation, experienced a whole host of degenerative diseases, and the fourth generation exhibited what? Are there any mental disorders in the world today? How many generations are we removed from the advent of cooked, processed, refined, carbohydrate-laden food? We're in the fourth generation of Pottinger's cats, people.
Wow.
You're never going to hear this anywhere, I promise you. Keep reading. Fourth generation, mental disorders and what? Infertility. Meaning they did not reproduce. The implication for humans, not that humans should eat only raw foods, humans are not cats, but rather when the human diet produces facial deformities, as we're seeing these days, extinction will occur if that diet is followed for several generations. Put that together. If you're seeing crowded dental arches and crooked teeth, think about it. And, you know, I'm not judging anybody. Come on. I lived half of my childhood was in a dental chair. I had 6 teeth pulled. I had a mouthful of amalgams. I had a palatal expander. I had braces. I had Frankels. I had retainers. Honey bunny. I had so much hardware in my face. Next. I shudder to think what my parents shoveled into a dentist's pocket. And every time I left the dentist's office, guess what was on the counter? Candy. Yep. So the experiment, here it is. Pottinger conceived of an experiment in which one group of cats received only raw milk and meat, while the other groups received part of the diet as cooked milk or meat. He found that only those cats whose diet was totally raw survived a surgical procedure he performed. And as his research progressed, he noticed that only the all raw group continued in good health generation after generation. They had excellent bone structure, freedom from parasites and vermin. Do you need heartworm and flea and tick crap for your dogs and cats? Easy pregnancies and gentle dispositions. Could behavioral problems occurring in cats and dogs be a result of the crap food from Purina that you're feeding them? Let that sink in. All of the groups whose diet contained partially cooked meat developed facial deformities of the exact same kind that Price observed in human groups on the displacing foods of modern commerce. Narrowed faces, crowded jaws, frail bones, weakened ligaments. Weakened ligaments. How many people you know who are getting hip and knee replacements and their shoulder keeps popping out of joint and their back pain is killing them and they're hurting and they're 25 years old. And they weren't in a car accident. Once again, fourth generation. They were plagued with, these sick ones were plagued with what? Parasites. Developed all manner of diseases and had difficult what? Pregnancies. Female cats became aggressive while the males became docile. See how that works? What's happening right now? After just 3 generations, young animals died before reaching adulthood and reproduction ceased. Is the birth rate going up or down right now for the United States? Next. Here's the big conclusion. The results are misinterpreted. They don't mean the human blah, 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 blah. Milk products were almost always consumed raw. Pottinger's findings must be seen in the context of his research and can be interpreted as follows. When the human diet produces facial deformities, the progressive narrowing of the face and crowding of the teeth, extinction will occur if you don't change it. The implications for Western civilization, obsessed as it is with refined, highly sweetened convenience foods and low-fat items, is profound. What do you find when you're on the road? You go into a convenience store. Foods like that. What do you find when you walk into a fast food joint? Foods like that. Most supermarkets, what do you find? Food like that. Nursing homes, what do you find? Food like that. Hospitals, what do you find? Food like that. Diet programs, what do you find? Vending machines. Schools, what do you find? Food like that. Prisons, what do you find? Very different. Prisons have better food than your schools because they know if they feed the prisoners crappy food, what are they going to have? Problems, right? So, commercial break. You ready, Lauren? And then we'll get into what's the solution here. Fabulous. Yay!
Okay. Before finding divine design, I spent most of my life following and trying quick fad diets and following advice from people on TV for my health, with little to no temporary results or success. Now, being a patient, I realized my family and I were not aware of how deceived we truly were. I've learned so much about my body and how God wants me to take care of it. Being here has also strengthened me spiritually. I am now sharing with others to show them the health God has intended for them.
It's almost like you guys picked all of the good diet, weight loss testimonials almost. How'd that work out? Let's laugh. Ready? In the 90s, skinny dude, fat TV. 2011, fat dude, skinny TV. I looked at that and I was like, I don't get it. Took me a minute. One of the girls had to explain it to me. I don't have a TV. I don't own TV. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Oh, go to this one. Oh, the next one. Oh, this makes me sick. We simply had 2 characters with diabetes represented in the movie Red, which I don't know anything about. It's probably some Disney Pixar thing, with their insulin pumps attached to their arms, which is representation and diversity. So see the kids' cartoons, insulin pumps attached to their arms.
Oh my goodness.
If you think this is not leading you towards AI, transhumanism, melding with machines, artificial intelligence, all the crap, all the implants, the Neuralinks, the glucose monitors, and the insulin pumps, and all the crazy crap that they're rolling out for the New Age Mark of the Beast Antichrist system, you're nuts. If you don't see it, you're nuts. Next, they're doing it with kids' cartoons. With the USA so divided, I'm just glad to be on the side that believes in God, has the most guns, and knows which restroom to use. Amen. And all I'm saying is that if my dog got 3 rabies vaxes in a year and still got rabies, I'd start asking some questions. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So what's wrong with politically correct nutrition? You know what? Yeah, we can speed through these, I guess. Avoid saturated fats. They've told you this for years. Years and years and years. Stay away from fat. Oh, animal fats. Animal fats are bad. Well, you wouldn't have enzymes in your body to digest the animal fats if the animal fats were something you should not eat, correct? I didn't make you. I didn't write the book. I didn't write the instruction manual. He did. So if you don't trust who put you here and while you're here, then you will go to a place that's not here a lot faster than you needed to, right? So saturated fats, they're very important roles in the body. Remember what Weston A. Price said? Remember what Francis Pottinger said? Like all the indigenous peoples of the world ate animal products, saturated fats, right? They provide integrity to the cell wall, promote the body's use of essential fatty acids, enhance the immune system. In the age of COVIDs, definitely need that. Protect the liver and contribute to strong bones. Lungs and kidneys cannot work without saturated fat. You want to know why all the kids have asthma and allergies? And all the girls have UTIs? Oh my gosh, it's right there, it's here. Saturated fats do not cause heart disease. In fact, saturated fats are the preferred food for the heart. Which organ eats first? Thank you. Because your body needs saturated fats, it makes them out of carbs and excess protein when there are not enough in the diet. So when they're saying avoid saturated fats, they're saying avoid what makes you up. That's nonsensical. And these are the same people that are telling you to wear masks and lock yourself in a room and be afraid of something that has never been proven to exist. Same people. Next. What's another lie? Limit your cholesterol. Contributes to the strength of the intestinal wall, helps babies and children develop a healthy brain and nervous system. Are you seeing the effects of a cholesterol-free, low-cholesterol diet for the last 40, 50 years? Foods that contain cholesterol provide many other important nutrients. Only oxidized cholesterol found in fake milk and fake eggs contributes to heart disease. Next. I mean, it's right here. It's right here in black and white. Use more polyunsaturated oils. That's basically, they're brand new to the human diet. They contribute to all these diseases. Polyunsaturated, that means trans fats, man-made stuff, basically. Due to the modern use of commercial liquid vegetable oils, even olive oil, monounsaturated, is considered to be healthy, can cause imbalances at the cellular level if consumed in large amounts. So use more, so what they're saying, politically correct nutrition, the stuff that they're going to be censoring soon from you, is use more man-made fats and oils. Here's your, eat your vegan butter and eat your margarine. That's what this is. Next. Avoid red meat. How many times have you heard this? Define red meat. Is it Farmer Joe stuff or is it McDonald's, right? Well, McDonald's serves human meat, but yeah, nobody knows that, right? Yeah, they haven't announced that yet. But they have McPlant burgers. Oh, we forgot to put that. McPlant burgers, Christians, have better ingredients than your Chick-fil-A crap. But we'll get to that later on. Avoid red meat. Red meat is a rich source of nutrients that protect the heart and nervous system. These include vitamins B12, B6, zinc, phosphorus, carnitine, coenzyme Q10. You're never going to get coenzyme Q10 out of a plant. You have to have animal stuff. That's why when I said at the beginning, some people we don't treat, vegans and vegetarians. If they're a hard line in the sand, we can't. We'll get you to a certain point, and then your progress will stop, and you'll fall off the wagon, right? But all of these things, these are the myths, the stuff in the bold. Avoid red meat. They've made you afraid of red meat forever. Next. Cut back on eggs. Perfect food. Excellent protein. Gamut of vitamins, important fatty acids that contribute to the health of the brain and the nervous system. See the pattern here? They've been telling you to stay away from the stuff that contributes to your brain and nervous system, and we're wondering why everyone's stupid and the IQ is going down and they can't reproduce. Americans had less heart disease when they ate more eggs. Egg substitutes cause rapid death in test animals. You can't make this up. Next. You can't make this up. Restrict salt. Oh, how many times I've heard this. Restrict salt. People are so afraid of salt. And when I tell them that's the most plentiful mineral element, it's on the periodic table of the elements. It's the most plentiful thing in your body. You have to have it. It blows their minds. They've been lied to. It's crucial for digestion and assimilation. It's also necessary for the development and function of what? Are you seeing a pattern? Next. Eat lean meat and drink low-fat milk. That's the myth, right? Lean meat and low-fat milk lack fat-soluble vitamins needed to assimilate the protein and the minerals in meat and milk. So consumption of low-fat foods leads to depletion of vitamin A and D. And those are fat-soluble vitamins, of which there are 4. You're screwing yourself by taking 2 of them out. It's nuts. Next. Limit fat consumption to 30% of calories. If you want to make somebody crazy, start counting calories. It's too low for most people, leading to low blood sugar and fatigue. Traditional diets contain 30% to 80% of the calories of healthy fats, mostly of animal origin. When vegetarians and vegans come in here, what's their number one complaint? I'm so tired. Next. Eat 6 to 11 servings of grains. Are grains protein, fat, or carbohydrates? Per day. Most grain products are made from white flour, which is devoid of nutrients. Additives in white flour can cause vitamin deficiencies. Whole grain products can cause mineral deficiencies and intestinal problems unless properly prepared. Next. You know the food pyramid that we all learned in school? It's inverted and upside down and stupid for a reason, right? Next. These people aren't stupid. They know what they're doing. Don't be deceived. Eat at least 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per day. Fruit and vegetables receive an average of 10 applications of pesticides from seed to storage. Consumers should seek out organic produce. Quality counts. Next. So you have to find the right stuff. You have to look. You have to find it. There are secrets to that. Eat more soy foods. Modern soy blocks mineral absorption, inhibits protein digestion, depresses thyroid function, contains potent carcinogens. Want to know why all the kids have cancers? What are the formulas made of? Soy. Next. 11 principles of traditional diets. I put this together these are the, I kind of put this in order so that you would see the 11 things, the big point. You don't have to read the whole book, the Nutrition and Physical Degeneration book by Weston A. Price, the website, all that stuff, summed up, 11 points. Here goes. The diets of healthy, non-industrialized peoples contain no refined or denatured foods or ingredients, such as refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup, white flour, canned foods, pasteurized, homogenized, skim, or low-fat milk, refined or hydrogenated vegetable oils, synthetic vitamins or toxic additives, and artificial colorings. Non-industrialized people, none of that was in their food. None of it. The minute they got on it, they got sick. Next, number 2. Oh, this is great, isn't it? You guys ought to be writing some of this down or taking some pictures, or you'll probably never see this anywhere else. All traditional cultures consume some sort of animal food, such as fish and shellfish, land and waterfowl, land and sea mammals, eggs, milk and milk products, reptiles and insects. I know that's not appetizing to Americans, but the whole animal is consumed, muscle meat, organs, bones, and fat, with the organ meats and fats preferred. See? They knew you couldn't get fat from plants. Interesting, isn't it? Plants also don't have hormones. So when you eat meat or you eat the tissue, what are you getting when you're eating the tissue? The hormones that were flowing through the meat at that time. See the importance? Plant eaters, you're not going to get it from plants. Number 3, the diets of healthy, non-industrialized peoples contain at least 4 times the minerals and water-soluble vitamins and 10 times fat-soluble vitamins found in animal fats. We read about that as the average diet. Number 4, all traditional cultures cooked some of their food, but all consumed a portion of their animal foods raw. All of them cooked some of their food, but some of the animal foods were raw. So should you do sushi? It's raw. Heck yeah. How many people who lived near oceans ate sushi, ate raw fish for years? I mean, Jesus ate fish, right? Next, number 5, primitive and traditional diets have a high content of food enzymes and beneficial bacteria from lacto-fermented vegetables, fruits, beverages, dairy products, meats, and condiments. Super easy. Fermented stuff. We're talking sauerkraut. We're talking kefir. We're talking, pickles. We're talking not the store-bought stuff. Very different. Kombucha. We're talking fermented stuff. Stuff that is fermented. Seeds and grains. Number 6. And nuts were soaked, sprouted, fermented, or naturally leavened to neutralize naturally occurring anti-nutrients such as enzyme inhibitors, tannins, and phytic acid. I know that one's getting a little complicated. Number 7, we'll move on. Total fat content of traditional diets varies from 30 to 80% of calories, but only about 4% of calories come from polyunsaturated oils naturally occurring in grains, legumes, nuts, fish, animal fats, and vegetables. Balance of fat calories is in the form of saturated and monounsaturated fatty acids. I know those are big words. Just read, eat fat that God made, not that man created in a lab. Number 8, traditional diets contain nearly equal amounts of omega-6 and 3. Most medical doctors today that go into the omega-6 and omega-3 thing would tell you got to have 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1 ratio, whatever. But traditional diets contained equal amounts. Why? Because it's all of the genetically modified foods that are raising the omega-6 content in all the animals you're eating. So yeah, I eat fish. Yeah, I eat tilapia. What's the problem with tilapia? Raised on a farm, eating genetically modified grains like soy and corn and wheat because they're farm raised, right? Read on the package, it says farm raised. So that's what happens with your tilapia. Omega-6 goes way up. So when people are looking at modern day levels of omega-6 and omega-3, are they looking at it from a traditional long ago standpoint, or are they looking at it from a current day standpoint where all the animals are screwed up? They're looking at it from a modern day standpoint. Number 9, all traditional diets contain some salt. They lied to you. They lied to you. You need salt. You have to have salt to live. Number 10, all traditional cultures make use of animal bones, usually in the form of gelatin-rich bone broths. I know, that's a big one for people to get over. Number 11, traditional cultures make provisions for the health of future generations by providing special nutrient-rich animal foods for parents-to-be, pregnant women, and growing children. Growing children. Eat animal stuff, right? By proper spacing of children and by teaching the principles of right diet to the young. How are you going to propagate the tribe if you're poisoning your kids? Crazy, huh? So next, here it all is in one little thing. You can take a snapshot of this. This is more information on one slide than you're ever going to get from a doctor, from a nutritionist, across the top it says traditional diets maximize nutrients, and then over on the right, modern diets minimize nutrients. Everybody needs that. Study that later. Next. Did everybody get it? Hold on one sec. Everybody get that. Now, we're almost done. You ready for commercial break?
Yes.
Wow, we're flying. Everybody get that?
Yes.
That's a summary of everything you just heard. Next, commercial break.
Okay, I used to have severe acid reflux and stomach pain after eating. I was diagnosed with acid reflux at a young age and had dealt with it for several years. I was put on medications and had to do stomach scopes. After going to Divine Design, my acid reflux and stomach pain are gone. I used to think it was just something I'd have to live with for the rest of my life, and now I realize that if you take care of your body by eating right, you don't have to live with these kind of things. Awesome.
There you go. And somebody a while ago that came in and said, I'm perfectly healthy. I said, why are you here? She said, I can't lay down. Then you're not perfectly healthy. That's what we hear. I'm perfectly healthy. I had open heart surgery 6 months ago, though. Well, then you're not perfectly healthy, are you? And you weren't perfectly healthy for years leading up to your open heart surgery. So it's interesting. Yeah, come along the same lines. Next. Let's laugh a little bit. We really picked a bad generation to start World War III. They can't even fight anxiety from being called the wrong pronoun. By the way, my pronouns are he, him, his. It's never going to change. Just letting you know ahead of time. Next. And then the rats go and eat the poison thinking it's food. Oh, stupid rats. Oh, you can't make this up. Human meat in those. Okay, next. Too many people counting calories, not enough people counting chemicals. See, they get you focused on something they get you to focus on something that's not there while you're getting all of your,
Sugar-free syrup.
Yeah, sugar-free syrups, everything's sugar-free, low fat, no sugar, low sugar, diet gum. It's not going to rot your teeth, but it's full of aspartame and you're wondering why your hands are going numb and you can't see, right? They're chemicals, people. Those things were created to kill humans in biowarfare, and they're in your food supply. Unbelievable. Next. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Oh, I tell you. And see, it's poor people. They'll eat this stuff, and then they'll be on the treadmill for 4 hours. And they'll, like a rat in a cage. Poor people. I mean, it breaks my heart, but that's what happens. Well, I was just stress eating. Yeah, we all have stress. We just have to overcome it, right? Next. So I would be remiss to not talk about the fads of surgery. Why? Because we have so many people coming in here missing their intestines because their intestines are too long, right? Or they got their gallbladder, their appendix taken out, they got a bowel resection, they had 27 inches of this taken out, or they had 12 inches of that taken out. And so when you change your digestion, you have people in your family who've had these surgeries. When you change your digestion, you change who you are, period, end of story. You change your ability to assimilate nutrients. The person who couldn't lay down, she can't lay down because they've told her she had a hiatal hernia or gastroesophageal reflux or something like that. So that's something that can be easily fixed in 30 seconds. Easily fixed. There's no drug in the world that's going to fix that, right? So I would be remiss to not talk about some of these surgeries because they're coming. And they're making them easier, more affordable, and they're going to get your Medicare and your insurance to always okay them. I'll show you how. There are currently 3 primary weight loss. They're called bariatric surgeries being performed across the U.S. They're adjustable gastric band, which we'll talk about. I love the name of this one, Ruin Ya, gastric bypass. We're going to ruin you. And a sleeve gastrectomy. We'll have a picture and we'll have a little table so you can look at all this here in a second. But you know people who've had these surgeries. I guarantee you. To be a candidate for weight loss surgery, you must have a BMI greater than 40 or a BMI greater than 35 with a comorbid condition, meaning other medical conditions such as heart disease, in addition to a high BMI. So I've had lies doctors tell, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. One of the lies in there back in the early one was the doctor telling the patient, hey, if we fudge your height or weight and get you a higher BMI number, we can get your insurance to pay for the surgery. Interesting, huh? So that's how they do it. They'll just fudge your numbers and make sure your BMI number is, which is an average, it's a ratio of your height to your weight in inches. If it's a certain number, if it's 40 or higher, guess what? Your insurance will pay for your surgery. Will radically change your ability to digest and assimilate nutrients for the rest of your life. So weight loss surgeries, there are 3 of them. Here goes. Adjustable gastric banding, 20 years, involves a surgeon placing an adjustable silicone band around the upper part of your stomach. You can't make this stuff up. Of the 3 procedures, only this one is adjustable. The amount of food a person's stomach holds can be altered with an office visit by adjusting the tightness of the band around the stomach. The lap band by Allergan is currently the only procedure device with FDA approval for use in people with BMI between 30 and 35. Preoperative requirements varied depending on insurance plans and any pre-existing health conditions that may be present. So we'll go to the next one. There's a picture at the end. It'll show you what they actually do in their cartoon pictures. Gastric bypass has been performed the longest, dating back 30 years. So it says right in the name. So gastric, stomach bypass. So the procedure involves a surgeon cutting across the top of the stomach to create a walnut-sized pouch. The surgeon then attaches the pouch to the small intestine, so the food passes from, bypasses the stomach and enters directly into the small intestine. Gastric bypass is a combined procedure, which means that it restricts portion size and limits the absorption of foods, a process called malabsorption. You're submitting yourself to a malabsorption. Mal means bad, absorption means absorption, so malabsorption means bad absorption. That's what it causes. It says it right there. Next. And then the sleeve gastrectomy has been around for 15 years, and the surgeon removes 80 to 85% of your stomach. Then staples the remaining portion of the stomach together. It's a restrictive procedure that limits the amount of food you can consume. So here's a little picture that'll show you exactly what all this is. So here's the adjustable gastric band. They put a little thing around here, and they tighten it down. Here is the gastric bypass. They cut your stomach away here, and this bypass, they stick basically the end of your esophagus together with your small intestine. Do you think that will cause any problems later on?
Yeah.
Who thinks of this crap? Demons is who thinks of this crap. Mental patients is who thinks of this crap. What's easier to do, changing your diet or going in and having a length of stay 2 to 5 days, recovery time 18 days? It's not easily reversed. Some minerals are not easily absorbed. Which ones? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Some minerals. No big deal, right? Risks of complications, moderate. How many people go in to get one of these surgeries and never come out? Here's the sleeve gastrectomy. See, this is the one where they cut out 80 to 85% of your stomach. Do people even, and this was just a simple, literally a 2-minute Google search. It's the only time I use Google is when I'm searching for these classes. There's other search engines I use, but not DuckDuckGo anymore. Thank you very much. But this right here, this is simple and easy to find for anyone. This is one of the first couple things that comes up when you type in, weight loss surgeries. Simple, easy to find, right here. The top 3 things in the United States. So, that being said, here, Christians, here's your ingredients. Blow that sucker up, buddy, because I hear this all the time. Well, I just eat Chick-fil-A. I don't go to McDonald's. I just get the salad. Here it is. Check this out. I don't know if you can blow that up. Can you? Oh, there's chicken nuggets. Well, I'll read it. Right here, check this out. One of the first ingredients, boneless, skinless chicken breast fillet, seasoning, and in the seasoning, within the seasoning, the number 1 ingredient is monosodium glutamate, which is an artificial sweetener, which stimulates, overexcites your brain, and it's a flavor enhancer that nutrition food scientists figured out how to push your brain right to the edge, right? Sugar, spices, paprika, so that's in the seasoning. Enriched bleached white flour. What did we just read about white flour? Right. Then you've got a bunch of fake synthetic nutrients here: iron, niacin, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. Those are fake B vitamins. Those are synthetic, probably bought from pharmaceutical companies and put into your burgers, into at least the bread of the burger. More monosodium glutamate in The bun. See that? Non-fat milk, so that's fake, it's cooked. Leavening, baking soda, sodium aluminum phosphate. You don't want that. Monocalcium phosphate. Spice, soybean oil, there it is, color. Non-fat milk, egg, fully refined peanut oil. I mean, look at this. Dimethyl polysiloxane, an anti-foam agent. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Datem, D-A-T-E-M, that's a cancer causer, if I do remember correctly. And then down here, I mean, the healthiest thing out here is the pickle. Next. Well, I just get the grilled nuggets. Okay, let's look. You know what you have to do to find the ingredients for this online? It's not just a simple, easy thing. Ask the girls. Chicken, boneless chicken breast, water, apple cider vinegar, soybean oil. There you go. Enjoy your man boobies. Modified cornstarch. There is genetically modified things. Salt, yeast extract. That's an artificial sweetener. Sugar. That's sugar. Chicken breast meat. Wait, how is that so far down the list on a boneless, skinless chicken breast? I don't know. I really don't know. I just realized that. How's chicken? This is the chicken. Why is chicken breast meat so far down the list of all these other ingredients? I never noticed that before. Okay, I'll let one of you guys figure that out. Dehydrated onion, garlic, salt, molasses. I mean, what are vinegar solids? I don't even know. Anybody know what that is? So before you go sit in a 3-ring circus and wait 15 or 20 minutes for your food, actually they're pretty good from what I hear as far as getting you through the drive-thru. But by the time you spend $16 on a meal, don't be griping to me that natural health is too expensive when you see what's happening here. Once you know, you can't unknow it. Next. Now, here is what you will see as of Publix, as of February 26th, a year ago. Nadia was at Publix one time, and she said, "You're not going to believe all the fake plant-based crap that they're pushing." This was, remember when this was, right? They're pushing the whole plant-based thing to get you away from World Economic Forum saying you'll eat no meat and you'll be happy. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The World Economic Forum, or I call them the World Demonic Forum, right? They want you to eat no meat. Interesting, isn't it? These are the people who say you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, and if I'm not going to own it, who is? They are, right? So here's all the artificial food versus natural food. We covered this in the artificial versus natural class. Plant-based foods available February of last year. So they rolled all this stuff out like within a few weeks. This was planned, big time. Look at this. Caramelized onions and beer, plant-based bratwursts. Apple and maple, plant-based breakfast sausages. Smart bacon, plant-based bacon. What? Yep, right there. Alpha burrito, plant-based. Chicken fajita, see how they spell chicken? They have to spell it that way by law because it's not real chicken. So they put an apostrophe with an N. So whenever you see that, that's a dead giveaway. Plant-based, yeah, everything's plant-based. See, and it'll always show you organic or no genetic, no GMOs. Rosemary garlic plant-based chicken, plant-based Philly cheesesteak. How many moms, how many families would be tricked into buying this stuff not knowing that it's soy, processed, not real, fake frankenfoods? Right? Plant-based beef, bean and cheese. Plant-based sausage, egg and cheese, burritos. Plant pure pizza bowl. This was one trip, and it all rolled out within weeks of each other. Pizza bowl. Check this out. Crustless veggie pizza bowl with plant-based cheese, spelled with a Z. You can't see that from back there, but in quotes. It has cheese spelled with a Z in quotes. Spiced soy curls and zesty tomato sauce on a bed of pearl barley. So barley, soy, fake cheese, and you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Corn. Look how they spell corn. See? You can't spell it. Isn't that nuts? Meatless nuggets. What? Meatless pieces, barbecue wings. See, they're all lightly breaded turkey. See how they spell turkey? Why else would they do that? Next. So you want to know why your kids can't reproduce and your grandkids are retarded? Right here. Next. Oh, Dr. Prager's. Go back to that one. Turkey burger. See that? That's a dead giveaway. Morningstar Farms. Veggie meal starters. Look at this. Veggie meal. Veggie dogs. Veggie dogs? Fishless fillets. Beefless burger. Look at this crap. Popcorn chicken. There it is again. See that? Plant-based chicken. See that? So here we are. Dr. Spradlin's Divine Design Declarations. If you do not know yet that there is an agenda for you to be stupid, sick, and infertile, you need to know this. You need to understand. Here we go. If it comes from a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, stay the hell away from it. If it has a television commercial, you're paying for that advertising. If it's white, it ain't right. Particularly if it's 6 foot tall and heterosexual, it ain't right. That's funny. See, Jonathan's the only one laughing. Unbelievable. If it's white, male, and heterosexual, it's those cisgenders. Those cisgenders. No bags, cans, or boxes. Did you notice what we just showed you right there in the last 30 pictures of those products? I think it was 30 or 40 products that we had in those pictures back a year and a half ago, right? A year ago. They're all in bags, cans, and boxes, right? Never worship your food or your drink. I had somebody a little while ago that said I was volunteering, I can't remember who it was, volunteering at the children's church. And we were all sitting around, all the adults were sitting around, and I was telling them about what I'm doing here. And I said, oh, okay. What'd you say? Well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. All my stuff's going away. You know, my family goes to other places and they just do neck and back adjustments and like they x-ray all the time. And you know, they've been going there for years and they're better. I've been here eight weeks and I'm, you know, they've been going for years. They're no better. I'm here 8 weeks. Everything's going away, right? So she said, I'm sitting at church and we're all talking in a circle in the children's church, all the adults. And she says, what I'm doing here. And all of a sudden they're all like, oh no, I can't give up my Diet Coke. I can't give up my bread. I can't give up this. I can't do that. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to that. And I said, so basically what you're telling me is you're in church, in children's church, admitting to other believers that you're powerless over an addiction. Well, I got really quiet in here. That's what I hear. Never worship your food or your drink. Stop counting grams, carbs, and calories. And that's no hit to her. She was actually saying, yeah, it's sad. Because she was realizing it too, you know. So number 7, do not shop while you're hungry. You'll grab all kinds of Krispy Kreme garbage and you won't want it later on. Number 8, support local farmers. I should put that one as number 1. Support your local farmers, right? Number 9, if I hear another mom say, well, little Johnny won't eat this or that, oh my goodness, you are your family's guardian. And the only reason little Johnny won't eat this or that is because you have allowed him to eat this or that to make him sick. And believe me, that's the only stuff in your fridge or your pantry, believe me, little Johnny will eat that. Little Johnny just has to get hungry enough to eat that, right? You are your family's guardian. Remember that. Nobody else is going to do it. If you don't do it, he's not going to do it, right? And number 10, if it's new, it's not true. I started out with this, I'll end it with this. If it's new, it's not true. If it's true, it's not new. If it's a newfangled diet or it's some kind of special ingredient that only grows on the east side of the Himalayas under a pile of yak crap, and it has to be harvested by the Sherpas on a rainy day, if it's some kind of specialized thing that hardly anyone has access to, God did not leave you to die because you don't have the yak crap buffet from the Himalayas. Okay? It's not going to be just one little thing. Oh, it's sea kelp from the Fukushima disaster. You know, it has to be from Fukushima. No, it does. No. Your health and livelihood is not going to be based upon one little single ingredient. Okay? Just remember that. So if it's new, it's not true. If it's true, it's not new. All right. I think we're good. Any quick questions before we sign off? I bored everyone to tears. Fabulous. Once again. Huh?
Excellent.
That was good? Did you learn some stuff? What do we got? No questions, comments, thoughts? Fabulous. We're signing off. Can I borrow this, sir? Real quick. Don't forget, April 11th, the next class, a couple weeks out. You do not have allergies. That's the name of the class. You do not have allergies. April 25th, Lies Doctors Tell, Part 5. You can go online, check out the old, I think most of those are older. They're on Facebook. Lies Doctors Tell, Part 5. You can go check out 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I promise you'll hear some stuff that you have heard from doctors. May 9th, Most Evil Substance on Earth. May 23rd, You're So Filthy. That's all about detoxification and what that actually means. And then on June 13th is What the Food. Thank you very much. We will see you in 2 weeks. You do not, I promise you, you do not have allergies. And by that point, April 11th, everyone will have been through spring, ragweed, pollen, and all the other stuff that we have around here in Cleveland. So you'll learn a lot from that class. So we'll see you. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design, Natural Health. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Boom. 7:45. Oh,